I played a lovely game of chess against a very strong opponent. In this video, I'm going to walk you through my attack, and I'll also show off my web app that I built to train openings. As you can see here, winning this game gives me the Shakedown 1979 rating, and my opponent is well within the coveted 2000 plus club. I open with e4. My opponent plays e6, the French defense. I wasn't too happy about this, since at the time, all I really knew about this opening was that after d4, d5, I'm supposed to play knight d2, and that is called the Tarrasch variation. My plan was just to play sensibly, but I didn't know any more theory. Since then, I've done a tiny bit of homework, using my homemade tool to study, and I'm going to show it off for a bit. Here's the URL. The app is functional, but certainly could be prettier. So let's get to the Tarrasch. I'm not going to dive too deep, but the best feature of my app is the display of this score number. For each move in Lichess's database, we compute a value. We reward decisive win percentage and also reward more common moves because those are more tested and more likely to be main lines, so perhaps they're more worthy of learning. It compares the value of Lichess's database's moves to each other and says that only the best move score is above 100, and the higher the score, the more significant its value is over alternatives. So in this position, Black better be playing d5, since its score is so high at 398. And second place is b6, with a score of only 25. I don't remember where I heard the recommendation of the Tarrasch, but my app agrees that it's the best. You can tell because its score is above 100. For Black, it says that the best response is bishop e7, apparently called the Morozevich variation, but it's quite rare with only 2% of players using it. If that happens, White should play knight f3. So, for Black from the Tarrasch, bishop e7 lets White win 47.6% of the time, which is why my app thinks it's the best move for Black to learn. c5 is played much more frequently and has the second highest score, but it lets White win 53% of the time. White should take the d-pawn here. The most common move from the Tarrasch for Black is knight f6, but that can be met with this line, which your opponent will give you 80% of the time. It has a comfortable 57% win rate over Black. Oh, all these percentages and scores are for Lichess ratings 2000 to 2500, which is where I'm studying. Okay, but my opponent didn't do any of that. I've imported this game here, and we can get to the Tarrasch. Okay. They played the fifth best move, taking on d4, and I just took back. From here, they should have played the most common move, knight d7. Then I'd get a knight out too, and we'd be mostly even, but instead, they played knight f6. Not so good for them. We traded, and I played knight f3, and my opponent played a6. The border here turned gray. This is just a signal that we're now dealing with rarer positions. My app is an opening trainer, and probably isn't as useful once scores represent positions that have been seen fewer than 10,000 times. So here, I played bishop d3, and immediately regretted it. As soon as I played it, I wished I'd played the best move. I'm attacking the queen, the bishop is defended, and the queen can't pass this pawn, can't pass this pawn, home, auto, bundle Ruski. From here, it's likely to go something like this, which was very visible. The lead in development is just crazy. I would be very happy. Okay, we can close my app. We're well out of the opening. Only 51 games have seen this position. So Black puts an end to my fun, h6. I don't know, castle, knight c6. Attacks a pawn, but actually it's defended. If you take the pawn and we trade knights, I can give a check. When you take the bishop, I win the queen. Therefore, instead of worrying about this pawn, I improve a rook, and they develop a bishop. I decide I don't want my bishop attacked by the knight if it moves to b4, so a3, castles. From here, I get in, and I play knight e5. If they take, the queen is in trouble. They attack the knight, and I could mess up their pawn structure, but I make the best move, of course, attack the queen, though now there are retreat squares. I predicted they'd move the queen back to d8, but from here, they take the pawn in the center, but it's not a good move from them. The computer says the position goes from plus 2.2 to plus 4.5. Now, I'm looking for a mating attack. I'm ready to mobilize, their bishop on c8 is blocked, and if I can send the queen to the shadow realm over here, I have a good shot at checkmate somehow. It's always a good feeling when a non-obvious line goes like you predict, and we got bishop, takes, attack, retreat, attack, retreat. You're basically in Jersey City, gotta take the PATH train or something to get back. You are way too far. So I'm back 6 moves ago, imagining this position, and I don't see checkmate, but it looks like such a strong attack, and actually the computer supports it, so I hop in. Sack, take, check, tuck the king. I'm ready to take this pawn as I had planned, but oh no, I suddenly see on the board I left my back door open. I'm looking for checks, captures, and threats, but nothing seems to work, and immediate checkmate is hard to defend against. Well, turns out, taking the pawn is the best move. It's not checkmate. You give up the rook, block, and this attack is too strong. But I don't see that my bishop can defend. I think it's one move checkmate, and I spend half my time and defend, I guess, line up the rooks. I'm really not happy because I see e5. It activates the bishop, attacks the queen, and blunts one of the checks I've been staring at. Not good. However, queen h5 is a great answer. I saw that option, but I didn't like e4. But here, computer agrees, you can take the pawn, check the king, and play rook b5. Maybe you win the queen, but that's not the point. The point is that you're getting in. By the way, you wanted to play rook b5, because if you take the pawn first, the opponent can block on f5. Okay, so we're here. I'd messed up. At this point, Stockfish actually says minus 1.0 black's advantage. Best move is queen e5. Threaten the king, and don't forget I sacrificed the knight on h6, so material advantages for black if we start trading down. Black doesn't see that, and makes a sensible move to get the rook into the game. I slide over, attacking the pawn, and the king is in big trouble. Black defends the pawn, but I have 2 attackers. They try to get cute, roll the dice a bit by attacking my queen, but I have the Jar Jar Binks, Big Boomer, Bishop, block, fossil, discovered, check. It's a check from the queen, black's bishop isn't making contact anymore. Only move, king g7, which leaves me open for queen h6. Checkmate. Home. Auto. Bundle. Ruski-doo.